Welcome to the Adobe Sign Proof of Vaccination demo. My name is Serge Felix, Senior Solution Consultant for Adobe Sign. In today's demo, I'll show you how a parent, a school employee, and a school nurse can have an exceptional experience with Adobe Sign. The main focus of this scenario will be obtaining proof of vaccination for school entry. Now, school is about to start, and parents have received an email requesting proof of vaccination so that their child can be admitted to school. The email included a document which the parent had to print out, fill, and sign. Additionally, a copy of their child's vaccination record had to be attached. Lastly, the parent had to hand deliver the documents to the school so they can make copies of it. So here is my experience. After printing out the document, I had to get into my car and drive to the doctor's office to pick up my daughter's vaccination form. Then I had to drive back to the school to deliver the documents, which they made copies of. Now I asked the school what they did with those copies. They told me that the school nurse would take the paper copies from a filing cabinet that they only had access to and enter the data on an application used by the nurses to pull up a child's profile in the event that they were sick. Now personally, that's a lot of data entry for a nurse. And I would rather a nurse be a nurse than a data clerk, especially when my daughter is sick. For me, it wasn't the best experience, especially with the traffic that I had to deal with. I'm also not the biggest fan of paper when all of this can be done digitally. So this process presents many challenges for schools and parents. First off, we have paper waste. We're creating additional work for parents and teachers to download, print, and copy documents. Then we have the inefficiency with our documents. I don't know about you, but filing papers away in a large filing cabinet is not very efficient, especially when it comes to searching for those documents. Then we have our sustainability efforts. Increasing paper usage when you can go digital is not eco-friendly. And let's not forget the indirect costs, such as the carbon emissions from the transportation. So here's where Adobe Sign comes into the picture. That'll help schools minimize these pain points. What I'll show you today is how I will use Adobe Sign to create a reusable template. From there, I'll create a web form that parents can fill out on any device of their choice, be it desktop, tablet, or mobile device. Then I'll store the web form data digitally. So let's get started. So here I'm in Adobe Sign. First thing I need to do is create a reusable template. I'm going to make a few minor adjustments here to make sure that those within my organization have access to this document. Then I'll go ahead and click on Add Files, and I'll find the document that I want to use. Here's my 2021 Proof of Vaccination form, which the template name inherits the actual file name. Last thing I have to do is click on Preview and Add Fields. But I've actually created this reusable template ahead of time. So I'm going to go back to my Manage tab. Then I'll click on Templates. Then I'll click on Proof of Vaccination. Then from there, I'll click on Edit Template. So this is the screen that we'll be taken to once we upload a document that we're going to use as a reusable template. To the right, we have a list of menus to choose from. Here I have my signature fields, signer info fields, data fields, and some additional fields. And so as you can see, as I go down this document, I'm using some custom text fields for the student and parent's name, along with their email address. I have a place, if required, for file attachments. So this will be for the scenario if parents need to attach their child's vaccination record. I have a few more custom fields that'll denote the date. And one thing I can do here is I can specify the date format. So these two fields will be entered in as a date format. And then I have some radio and text boxes or check boxes on this form. Down below, here's my signature field and a signer info field, which indicates when this document was signed. So everything looks good to me. I'll go ahead and click Save. And the next thing I'll do is I will go ahead and create a web form. So from the home screen, I'll click on Publish Web Form, and it's quite simple. First, I need to give my web form a name. Then I need to identify what role parents are going to play, since they are the participants. They can be signers, approvers, acceptors, but in this case, I want them to be form fillers. If I want to add layers of security, I can use our default method of their email address, or I can use password or knowledge-based authentication. For the purposes of today's demo, we'll use email as the default method of authentication. If I need some countersigners, I can add them below. I can also CC anyone on these web forms. So if any of the school administrators are needed to be in the loop of these web forms, I can add their email address there. Then I'll add the files, which in this case is the reusable template that I've just created. So here's the 2021 proof of vaccination. And just to ensure that those text and signature fields are placed in the proper place, I can check this box that says preview and add signature field. Now, like the reusable template, I've created this web form ahead of time. So we'll go back to my Manage tab, click on Web Forms, and then I'll select 2021 Proof of Vaccination and click on Edit Web Form. And here you'll see that I've given my web form a name and I've identified the participant role along with the reusable template that I'll be using. I'll go ahead and click on Next, and this is going to show me a very similar screen that you saw with the reusable template. Here are all the text fields, my file attachment, my dates for when the vaccination occurred, and then I have my radio buttons and my check boxes given for those who are not going to meet all the requirements for vaccination. Then down below I have my signature field and my date field. I'll go ahead and click on Update, and I'm ready to go. So now I have a web form URL that I can grab. I can copy this web form URL and I can go over and create an email with a link that goes directly to this web form. I can also get the embed code and send this to a developer. But what I actually decided to do is take the web form URL and create a QR code. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go over to my tablet device, and what you'll see to the right of it is a QR code. So for those of you that are on this webinar, I invite you to pull out your smartphones or your tablets and scan this QR code, because this is going to go directly to the web form. And what I'll do is I'll go ahead and demonstrate this to you right now. So I have my tablet. Let me go ahead and open this up. And then we'll go ahead and select my camera. And here is the web form. And so I'm ready to go. I'll click continue and I'll type in this case, I'll play the role of the parent, and I'm going to put in my child's name. I'll put in my name. And then over here, I have a place for my email address. And so I'll go ahead and enter that information. And as I continue to interact with the form, it's mobile ready. I can go ahead and select tap to attach attachment if required. And I can go ahead and find my sample vaccination form. If not required, I can still enter in the dates of when my child was vaccinated. So in this case, for polio, I know that he was vaccinated in November of 2005, and then he received another dose 5 years later. So we'll put November 2010. Down below, here's where I can select that my child meets all requirements. But let's say he doesn't meet all the requirements. I can select he doesn't, and I can start interacting with these checkboxes to indicate for either health reasons, religious reasons, or the like. I'll go ahead and say that my child meets all requirements. I give consent to use my child's immunization records, and now I'm ready to sign. So here I'll go ahead and type in my signature. I also have the option to draw my signature if I want, but typing will suffice. I'll click apply, click finish, and I'll click submit. Now before I actually submit the document, Adobe Sign wants to ensure that I actually intended to sign this intended to fill out this document. And so here I'm prompted to enter in my email address, which I've done. I'll go ahead and click submit, and that's it. And now I'm done. Now let's go back to Adobe Sign. And here in my Manage tab, there's other things that I can do. So for example, I can go and view all of my completed forms. And here I can view any of the forms that I've just completed. And so let's say I'm looking for a particular form. I can open the agreement, and then I can see here's a few parents who have entered in their information, and there's an actual attachment, and this is the actual vaccination form. Now one thing that I failed to do is confirm my email. And so as a parent, I'm going to come back to my tablet, and I'm going to come to my email. And here's the email that I will receive as a parent to confirm my email address. So I'll go ahead and click confirm. And now my vaccination record has been submitted. So if I go back to Adobe Sign and click on manage, right away you'll see the actual document itself. So here is the one that we've just created. Again, I can open up this agreement, and then I can look at the information that was submitted. And this is for the school administrators, especially if they want to have a record of the actual vaccination form. Now remember the school nurse? Well, there's an added benefit. What we've done here is for every single one of these completed forms, we're actually sending all that form data into a SharePoint list. Adobe Sign has deep integrations with Office 365 solutions. And what you see here is a SharePoint list where all of the web form information automatically gets sent over to this list. And now the school nurse doesn't have to manually enter in this information. It's presented to her right here. So another added benefit. So now that you saw me convert a document into a reusable template and build a web form and store all this data digitally in Adobe Sign as well as in SharePoint, what did we accomplish? Well, schools now can eliminate paper waste, which will result in decreased costs. The process of gathering documents and signatures is more efficient. Menial tasks such as printing and copying are done away with, and core job functions are prioritized, especially for the school nurse. Finally, schools can play an important role with the environment by reducing those carbon emissions from unnecessary travel. All this was done in Adobe Sign in a few simple steps. I hope you found this demonstration useful and a good use of your time. Thank you.